The images you are about to see offer a surprising look into the Australian wool industry. With more than 100 million sheep, Australia produces about 50% of the merino wool in the world. Most sheep in Australia are merino sheep who are bred to have wrinkly skin, which means more wool per animal. But blowflies lay eggs in these folds of skin, attracted to the moisture that can result when feces and urine get into the wrinkles, and the hatched maggots can eat the sheep alive. In a cruel and crude effort to reduce such infestations, Australian farmers perform a procedure called mulesing, which involves throwing live sheep onto their backs, restraining their legs between metal bars and, with no pain relief at all, carving chunks of flesh from their legs and rumps. Using a pair of sharp metal shears, much like the ones used to cut branches from a tree, farmers carve away the flesh from the animal's rumps. This is done to create a smooth scar that is supposed to prevent urine and droppings from sticking to the wool, reducing the likelihood of maggot infestation. But the exposed wound can attract flies and become infected before it heals, making mulesing not only cruel but sometimes even ineffective. Although there are alternatives to mulesing, such as shearing under the tail at the right time, using insecticide, using fly traps, monitoring sheep closely so that fly strike can be spotted and treated, or simply using plain-bodied sheep who are better suited to the hot Australian climate, farmers perform mulesing on millions of lambs each year without any painkillers whatsoever. Each year, up to 6 million Australian sheep are rounded up on farms and goaded onto trucks, where they wait, sometimes for days, until they reach export ships. Export ships are many tiers high, and usually carry tens of thousands of animals. The sheep face journeys of several weeks at sea, often in temperatures exceeding 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 40 degrees Celsius. Disease outbreaks are common on the crowded vessels. During these agonizing journeys over thousands of miles and across hemispheres, many thousands of sheep die because they stop eating from stress and confusion, and many collapse from heat exhaustion. Many fall ill from other causes, and many die when they are smothered or trampled by other frightened sheep. Sick and injured sheep have been ground up in mincing machines while still conscious, or dumped overboard to drown or be eaten by sharks. In 2003, on a ship called the MV Como Express, more than 5,000 sheep died and 45,000 more suffered greatly while the ship remained at sea for close to 3 months. Once they arrive at their final destination, usually somewhere in the Middle East, Asia or North Africa, where animal welfare standards are almost non-existent, sheep are dragged from the ship and trucked off to be sold for ritual slaughter. In many of the countries where these sheep end up, animals are not stunned before slaughter. This means that fully conscious animals, having already endured a lifetime of abuse, including an arduous, miserable and frightening journey, are dragged into slaughterhouses and market squares where they have their throats slit, often in front of other sheep, all while fully conscious. Many of these sheep are thrown on top of other sheep and left to slowly bleed to death. Many sheep are ritually slaughtered to celebrate particular events like the opening of a new store. Without any welfare regulations whatsoever, many of these animals have their throats slit and their legs cut off and are skinned and dismembered while still alive. Please help stop this terrible suffering by not buying wool, particularly wool from Australia, which, as you have seen, practices mulesing and exports live sheep by sea. With so many wonderful natural materials and synthetics available, it's easy not to wear or buy wool. Call Peter or visit SaveTheSheep.com for a list of alternatives. Thank you.